So we're going to discuss the awarid ghair mufsida. So before we start the actual chapter, just briefly what the and this is the caveat here. Your wudu broke unintentionally. This is on. Can I speak? Your wudu broke unintentionally. Then you can go and make wudu and return and continue with your salah with certain conditions, right? Without having to restart the salah. And this masla is quite uh, relevant for, like, maybe sometimes you're reading Taraweeh, if the Imam's wudu broke. Imagine you have to restart the whole thing again. So he can appoint somebody else to continue with the salah without restarting the whole salah. Right? Okay, read Bismillah. Right? Read again, Bismillah. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَنْ سَبَقَ الْحَدَثُ فِي الصَّلَاةِ. That person to the hadith overtook him. So this is critical here. It doesn't mean you intentionally broke your wudu. If you intentionally break your wudu, there's no way you can salvage this salah, right? So وَمَنْ سَبَقَ الْحَدَثُ فِي الصَّلَاةِ إِنْ صَرَفَ, you can go and make wudu. فَإِنْ كَانَ إِمَامًا, if he was the imam, إِسْتَخْلَفَ, he can put another person there. وَتَوَضَّعَ, and he can make wudu, وَبَنَى, and he can continue with his salah. There's one ustad in Darul Uloom Azhar, Hafiz Yusuf Jasad. You must have heard about him. In the summer months, so not in the summer months, sorry, in the winter months, when the night is very, very long, then he makes a whole khatam. He makes a khatam in tahajjud namaz. Not in tahajjud namaz. He makes khatam in tarawih. You're right. You can't make in tahajjud because according to Hanafi madhab, you don't read any nafla namaz in Jamaat. So imagine now if he reads maybe 25 paras, and after 25 paras, his wudu breaks. What happens? If you have to abandon the salat, means that 25 paras is abandoned. But now if you look at this masla here, what can you do? All he do is he calls another, if his wudu broke unintentionally, all he do is he put another person there as an imam, finish of the rakat, recite just what needs to be recited, and finish of the rakat, and then that 25 paras is still intact. And then he can read now the next 5 paras in the next rakat, you understood? So so this is called bina, where you build on the salah when your wudu broke unintentionally. So see there, وَمَنْ سَبَقَهُ الْحَدَثُ, who hadith overtook him, في الصلاة, in salat, in sarafa, he will turn. فَإِنْ كَانَ إِمَامًا, if he was an imam, استخلف, he will appoint somebody else. وَتَوَضَّعَ, he will make wudu. وَبَنَى, and he will build on that salah, right? Carry on. والمشي والانصراف. Okay. So لأن الحدث ينافيها ولأن المشي والانحراف يفسدانها. Okay. So what he's saying is, logically, if you look at logic, when you made hadath unintentionally, your salah is supposed to be broken. Why? Because look here, we know hadath is munafi to salat. We know the condition of salah is you must have wudu. The condition of salah is you must have wudu. So here, something which is against the salat has been found. Something which is against the salat has been found. That's one thing. And the second thing is this here, you're going to walk. And we know this is amal kathir. And amal kathir, it is munafi of salah. Your back is going to turn away from Qibla. We know the masla that if you're reading salah and your chest turns away from Qibla, your salat becomes invalid, etc. So logically speaking, the salat is supposed to be broken. But here we were, and Imam Shafi has chosen this particular opinion, but we will put our logic aside because we've got a clear hadith and we've got a clear text that suggests that the salah will not break. So see there, wal-qiyasu and logic, analytical thinking is that yastaqbila, that this person, whether it is a woman reading salat alone at home, or whether it's a man reading salah, or it doesn't matter even whether you're reading sunnahs or whether you're reading faraz, or whether it's an imam in the big masjid, whatever, right? Logically, yastaqbila, he must restart his salah. And وَهُوَ قَوْلُ الشَّافِعِيِّ, and this is the statement of Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala. Why? لِأَنَّ الْحَدَثَ يُنَافِيهَا, because hadath, it goes against salah. Right? Remember, we discussed it several times, but from amongst the conditions of salah is that you must be free from hadath, right? لِأَنَّ الْحَدَثَ يُنَافِيهَا وَالْمَشْيَ وَالْانْحِرَافُ يُفْسِدَانِهِ, and walking in salah and turning away from the Qibla, it corrupts the salah, it spoils the salah, etc. Right? Carry on. So فَأَشْبَحَ الْحَدَثَ الْأَمَدَ, so it resembles an intentional breaking of wudu. So what is saying there, like how intentionally when you break wudu, you intentionally release the gas, or you intentionally pass urine or whatever, you're not allowed to build on its salah. The salah is gone. So same thing here. You when it happened unintentionally, it's right. But as I said, we've got explicit text to suggest that you can build on the salah. So we put our logic aside, and that is our general principle, that when you got text, you got hadith, and the Hanafi madhab, even if it's a mursal riwayat, then you put your logic aside and you go with the text. So walana qawluhu alayhi salam, for us is the opinion of Nabi Sallallahu man qa'a, who vomited unintentionally, or rafu'a, or got rafa'a, or he had nosebleed, or amdha, or unintentionally some madhi, precoital fluid came out in his salat, falyansarif, then he should turn, waliyatawadda, he should make wudu, waliyabni ala salatihi, and he can build upon his salah, ma lam yatakallam, as long as he does not speak. So what that means here is, normally to turn your back away from Qibla, to walk, etc., these are amal kathir, so it breaks your salah. But here, this is a zarurat, right? So you can do this, but anything over and above this, anything which is not necessary. So you are reading salah here, Even if it's a woman by a house, maybe, for example, she was reading a faraz, she was reading a sunnat, whatever, and then her wudu broke unintentionally. She can go straight to the wudu khana without speaking to anybody. She mustn't speak because that is munafi of salat. So although she's in salat, or she's still in salat, make wudu and, and nothing extra, only the wudu, come back and continue where she stopped, right? That's what he's saying. Ma'lam yatakallam. So although the word here is ma'lam yatakallam, as long as she does not speak, what is meant here, any other action that goes against salah, like what? Eating, sleeping, laying down, to such an extent, ulama mentioned also that you must take the shortest route. You must take the shortest route to where you're going to make wudu, etc., etc. So the laws for what we call loud, correct. So the laws for bina are quite stringent. The laws for bina are quite stringent. That is why our ulama always say that rather than make bina, restart the salah, right? So, well, yabni, but if you can, inshallah, you can do it properly. You just go straight without talking, without eating, without sleeping. You don't. So even if you meet somebody on the way and they greet you, you mustn't greet them. They'll think, hey, what's up with this person? Greeting, whatever. So, ma'alam yatakallam. So, ma'alam yatakallam, although the word yatakallam is mentioned here, but it means anything, action which goes against salah, right? Carry on. Nothing, you won't do even ishara.
وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام في صلاته فليضع يده على فمه وليقدم ما لم يسبق بشيء.
Right, so see, وقال عليه السلام, Nabi Sallam said, إذا صلى أحدكم, when one of you are reading salah, فقاء, he vomited, أو رأفة, you got the رأفة أو رأفة, 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 both, right? So he had nosebleed. فليضع يده على فمه, he should put his mouth on his hand, right? وليقدم, he should go advance, right? وليقدم ما لم يسبق بشيء, as long as nothing else overtakes him, right? والبلوى فيما يسبق دون ما يتعمده فلا يلحق به, right? What he's saying in this ibarat here is وَلْيُقَدِّمْ مَنْ لَمْ يُسْبِقْهُ. You know the word masbuk. What is masbuk? Masbuk is that person who missed some part of the salat already. Ne? Masbuk is that person who missed some part of the salat already. So وَلْيُقَدِّمْ مَنْ لَمْ يُسْبِقْهُ بِشَيْءٍ. You must put somebody as an imam who did not miss anything. Why? Because if he never missed anything, then it's simple. He might just continue. For example, this happened in the third rakat, it happened in the fourth rakat. So he'll just read the third rakat and fourth rakat and he'll complete. But if, for example, he now came late, right? So he still need to read three rakats, right? And here the qawm only needs to read two rakats. Right, this refer to more for imam. This doesn't refer to an individual woman reading namaz or munfarid. For them, it's much more simple. Now there will be a big confusion. Now there will be a big confusion. It means now the qawm must finish their salah and he must continue like a masbook and complete his salah. As we're saying, وَلْيُقَدِّمْ مَنْ لَمْ يُسْبِقِ شَيْءٍ. So he will put in front مَنْ لَمْ يُسْبِقِ بِشَيْءٍ, who, such a person who nothing missed him from the salah. That was, he must be what's the person who got the salah from the very beginning? What you call the mudrik. Ne? The person who didn't miss any of the salah, he was there from the salah from the, what you call the mudrik. So you must put a mudrik there. So he said, wal balwa fima yusbiqu duna ma yata'ammaduhu فلا يلحق به. Right. So in the next ibarat here, what is saying? وَالْبَلْوَى فِي مَا يُسْبِقُهُ دُونَ مَا يَتَعَمَّدُ فَلَا يُلْحَقُ بِهِ. They're answering the logic of Hazrat Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala. What does Imam Shafi said? Hazrat Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala said, look here, when a person broke his wudu intentionally, when a person broke his wudu intentionally, it is not correct. It is not permissible for him to make bina, right? Like how when a person broke his wudu intentionally, it is not correct for him to make bina. He must restart. So same thing here. When a person's wudu broke unintentionally, it should not be correct for him to be able to restart. We say wal balwa fima yusbiqu. Now balwa means where there is common affliction and we need to create some ease in it because of the common affliction, right? So wal balwa, the common affliction, fima yusbiqu, is in that which the hadith overtakes him. Not he intentionally made hadith, right? Duna ma yata'ammaduhu. Not where a person intentionally does it. فَلَا يُلْحَقُ بِهِ. So you will not join the two. You cannot say, look here, like how when a person intentionally broke his wuzu, you cannot continue, you cannot make bina. So same thing here. We say no. That the two are totally different. The two are totally different. Nobody intentionally breaks their wuzu, right? What happens more often is where the wudu, like if you're reading Salaah, you're not going to intentionally discharge some gas or intentionally release some urine or you're going to intentionally release some precoital fluid because there's going to be a great inconvenience for you. That means you have to now go wash, you have to restart your Salaah, etc., etc., etc. So that is not something which happens on its own. That is not something which happens on its own. That is that is not something which happens often, right? So the two are, you can say, significantly different. They say wal balwa, the common affliction. Because remember, in fiqh also, balwa means when there's a common affliction of something, it creates some type of expense. It does create some type of expense. Wal balwa, so the common affliction, fima yusbiqu, is where yusbiqu, the hadith overtakes him. Duna ma yata'ammaduhu, not where he intentionally makes hadith. فَلَا يُلْحَقُ بِهِ. So you cannot join the one where the hadith overtook him to the one where he intentionally made a hadith, right? وَالْإِسْتِنَافُ أَفْضَلُ. So although we say here it is permissible for the imam to point somebody else to continue with salah, or for a woman by the house, she's reading a faraz, or she's reading a nafal namaz, whatever, or you're reading your sunnahs, etc. You can make bina. وَالْإِسْتِنَافُ أَفْضَلُ. But to restart your salah, that is better. Why? Because there's so many conditions. وَالْإِسْتِنَافُ أَفْضَلُ تَحَرُّزًا عَنْ شُبْهَةِ الْخِلَافِ. To abstain from the ikhtilaf that is between the Hanafis and the Shafi, right? وَقِيلَ الْمُنْفَرِدُ. But some ulama, they try to make an intibaq between the two. They say, وَقِيلَ الْمُنْفَرِدُ يَسْتَقْبِلُ. If you are reading salah on your own, you're reading your faraz on your own, or you're reading your sunnahs on your own, or maybe you're reading a lady reading salat, then for them it's not so difficult. They can just go make wudu and come back. وَالْإِمَامُ وَالْمُقْتَدِي يَبْنِي لِفَضِيلَةِ الْجَمَاعَةِ. So he's saying, وَالْمُنْفَرِدُ يَسْتَقْبِلُ. So if you're reading salah on your own, it's better for you to restart, because by restarting, you're not losing anything out, right? By you reading your faraz namaz alone by your house. You go, your wudu broke, you go, you make wudu, you come back, you start afresh. Now, no problem. But yes, if you were following the jama'at and then your wudu broke, now it's better for you to make wudu and come and join again, because so you can still secure the reward of the jama'at. You understood that? So, wal imamu wal muqtadi, the imam and the muqtadi, right? Yabni, make bina, that means continue salah, li fadilatil jama'ati, to get the virtue of the jama'at. Understood? Okay. We'll stop there, inshallah. Now we'll switch over to the tafsir. We'll continue tomorrow. So here's a question: If a woman performs Isha, your wudu broken with her, you have to continue or restart. Well, you've got a choice. You've got a choice there. If you want to, which is better to restart, right? Make wudu and restart. But if you certain you can go and make wudu without doing anything extra that is normally against Salah, and you can able to continue, then it's better to you're allowed to do that. Although there, the last text we done, they said if you are reading Salah on your own, then restart because there's no problem with restarting. But if you're reading in Jamaat, etc., then it is better to make bina and come so you can still secure the reward of Jamaat, right?